What's up?
Oh, I'm just compiling all the top sports scores, news, and odds so I can make the very best bets.
Me too. BetOnline.ag.
Join today and receive your 50% welcome bonus at betonline.ag.
It was the consensus biggest need for the Patriots coming into the weekend. So how and why did they walk away from the 2019 NFL Draft without a tight end? Classic Belichick indeed. I'm Alex Barth. He is Evan Lazar. This is a special draft edition of the FOXBORO Report powered by betonline.ag. Visit clnsmedia.com/win today and use promo code CLNS50 for 50% cash back on your order. Evan, we were waiting. It was Irv Smith, and then he went. And then Jay Sternberg, and then he went. And then Knox, and then he went.
And Collie Warren.
And Collie Warren was in there. And now we're sitting here. They did sign a kid out of Texas as a UDFA, but Patriots do not draft a tight end the year after Rob Gronkowski retired. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much does that concern you?
I would say it's a 7.5 because I think that, and I think we're both in agreement on this, I think they have decent depth at the tight end position. They just don't have the guy.
They have like 4 number 2 tight ends.
Yeah, 4 like 2 or 3s, I would say.
Right.
Some of them I think are 3s. I think like if you let's just say hypothetically that they went into the season with Rob Gronkowski, Austin Seferian-Jenkins, and Matt Lacoste as their tight end depth chart, we'd be having a totally different conversation here. But they don't have that Rob Gronkowski. Now obviously nobody's Rob Gronkowski, but they don't have that top tight end, and then they didn't draft one this weekend. So now they're in a position where they have just kind of a bunch of guys at that spot.
Do you think it was a matter of they didn't like any of the guys in the draft, or do you think, they literally missed their chance? They kept thinking guys would be there later.
There's one situation I want to talk to you about that's going to hurt your feelings in a second here of where they kind of maybe missed out. But I think the biggest thing is that I don't think that they wanted to trade up for Irv Smith. Okay. And the main reason why that I can come up with is that from an athletic profile standpoint, he's not the ideal inline tight end. He's only 6'2". He's undersized for the position, and he didn't test off the charts. He ran well in the 40, but the rest of his drills were just kind of mediocre. So he wasn't exactly as safe of a prospect, I think, from an athletic profile standpoint and trying to checking off those thresholds to a point where they felt like they wanted to trade up for Irv Smith over Juwan Williams, who they just really, really loved. Jay Sternberger, that one's a little bit more of a head scratcher. Maybe the blocking is what took him out of the conversation for them. He's not a good inline blocker, and I think that maybe that is, they want the dual threat
in the position, right?
The spot that I wanted to get to where I think there was a little bit of, they might have missed, is that Kahale Warring from San Diego State, who I really liked, went 1 pick ahead from where the Patriots picked Damian Harris in the 3rd round. I think that they were trying to position themselves to maybe get a chance at Warring, at least have the option at that pick to have Warring or Harris. And the team before them took Warring, so they ended up settling on Harris.
Who was the best, they said was the best player on their board at that point.
And that kind of makes sense because they went with a pick that was associated with a need. They just went with the best player.
Well, look, I know you said that would hurt my feelings. I think that actually lines up with something I've kind of been pushing all weekend, in that in replacing the tight end, what the Patriots are going to do is not go find another tight end. They're actually going to kind of downgrade the importance of that position in the offense, and they're going to up the value of the running backs. They're going to ask for the running backs to do more and contribute more in certain ways, and I think drafting Harris was part of that, and maybe those two go together. Maybe they don't get their guy at tight end, and they said, all right, we got to go to plan B. We're devaluing the tight ends. Let's really make a run at this with the running backs. Let's go get a guy we think is talented, a Damian Harris, pair him with the 1st-round pick and Sony Michel, and try to build the offense around that. So I think the two can go together.
I think the other thing about it is that N'Keal Harry has a skill set that's a lot like a tight end in this Patriots offense. A contested catch guy down the field, bigger body, 6'3", big guy that can run.
Good blocker. I remember you
good
said
blocker. I mean, obviously he's not going to block in line with his hand in the ground, but he's a good blocker on the perimeter.
They traded up to take a punter in the 5th round. Let's not roll anything out.
He's gonna be a good perimeter blocker like any wide receiver.
Point being, they now have 2 great perimeter blockers in Julian Edelman and N'Keal Harry.
Yeah, point being is that N'Keal Harry is a bigger guy that can work the middle of the field, that can jump ball down the field and win in a lot of the same ways, I think, as Rob Gronkowski. And after they picked N'Keal Harry on Friday night, Nick Caserio mentioned Rob Gronkowski's contested catch ability in the same sentence as N'Keal Harry, unsolicited. It wasn't like somebody asked him, like, is this Gronk's replacement? He just said it.
Right.
So I think the team is kind of thinking of it in some ways like that. Like, okay, it's not a tight end, but at this point in time in the NFL, I mean, is Travis Kelce really a tight end?
Right.
You know, they're all kind of big receivers at this point.
How different is N'Keal Harry from Travis Kelce? I think is what
Travis Kelce or Zach Ertz or any of these guys. Yeah.
And again, just to remind people, replacing Rob Gronkowski does not mean a tight end for a tight end. The production, the ability can be found at other positions, and it looks like that's what the Patriots are trying to do. Now, if you think we're dumb for saying that, you can throw it in the comments below or get at us on Twitter at Patriots
quickly,
CLNS.
the day 3 guys that I think a lot of people are going to throw out, like why didn't they take a chance on Caleb Wilson, who is Mr. Irrelevant this year? Those types of guys, I think the main reason why is because they don't think that they're that much better than Austin Seferian-Jenkins, Matt LaCosse, Ryan Izzo.
Right.
They're kind of all just the same in the same talent.
They already have 2 NFL tight ends on the roster, and Izzo they used a 5th-round pick on last year.
Seventh round pick. But even if they took Caleb Wilson the 7th round, it's
he's
the same thing.
competing with Izzo, and you already have that guy on your roster. We've talked about redundancy a lot this weekend, and you know, they didn't find anybody who added anything to the roster, I think. All right, you can find all of our draft coverage. We talked about everything that went down this weekend. It's all on CLNSmedia.com. Hell of a weekend, man. Hell of a weekend. Seriously, I hope you enjoy all the coverage. CLNSmedia.com and on the CLNS YouTube page. It's all been brought to you by BetOnline.ag. Visit CLNSmedia.com/win. Use the promo code CLNS50 for 50% cash back. From inside Gillette Stadium, I'm Alex Barth. He's Evan Lazar. Thanks for watching.